of us have grown up thinking that in order to be successful, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer. But there are so many other high achieving professions that might even give you more bang for your buck. And today we'd like to look at becoming a pharmacist. So when thinking about the difference, I'd like to evaluate a few categories. First, how much schooling is required and therefore how much debt is incurred for each. Second, how does a post-schooling residency factor in? Third, what is the pay difference? And then fourth, what is the general difference in work-life balance or overall satisfaction in the career? So let's start with overall schooling and debt incurred. So both actually require the same amount of schooling, a 4-year bachelor's degree, and then 4 years of post-bachelor schooling, but med school is significantly more expensive, with the average med student graduating with $260K worth of student debt versus $170K for the average pharmacy student. Then there's post-schooling residency. While there is an option for pharmacists to attend post-schooling residency, it's an actual requirement to become a practicing doctor. For pharmacy, it might make it easier to achieve certain specialized positions, but as of today, most people who graduate from pharmacy school aren't going on to do residencies. Residency for physicians is typically between 3 to 7 years long, depending on the specialty. For some of the specialties on the lower end of that range, so let's say like internal medicine, you'll typically be making around 50 to 70K, versus if you do not attend residency as a pharmacist, typically early in your career, on average, pharmacists are making around 126K. So if we sum that all up at this point, for the pharmacist not attending a residency program, only 3 years out of school, they're already 300K ahead because of the less debt incurred and the immediate salary gained. And while that may not seem significant at this point, money earned earlier in your career is always of higher value to you because that money can be invested and earn compound interest. You take that 300K at 26 years old, sit it in a safe, low interest bearing account, and by the time that you're 50, that money is worth over $1 million to you. Now, in post-residency, the spread starts to widen significantly. And so the average primary care physician post-residency will earn around 287K on average. And of course, like this can get significantly higher for certain specialties, but remember that those specialties also require longer residencies and sometimes come with significant malpractice insurance. But as we discussed before, jobs are more than just salaries. So what about lifestyle? Well, truthfully, for both physicians and pharmacists, these are careers that deal with significant burnout. For physicians, the happiest tend to be amongst the fields that are most difficult to get into, so dermatology and ophthalmology. And for pharmacists, pharma industry pharmacists tend to be amongst the happiest. Let us know if there are other careers that you'd like us to look into in the comments.